Hi there and welcome to Solitary Ronin Films. I'm the Solitary Ronin, and today I thought I would like to show you my Criterion collection on DVD. So some of these I have upgraded to the Criterion version of Blu-ray, which if you've watched my Blu-ray collection videos you'll have seen, and other ones I am just hopefully anticipating that Criterion collection put them to Blu-ray, or I've bought other editions on Blu-ray. So without further ado, let's begin. Ace in the Hole by Billy Wilder, or The Big Carnival as it used to be called, or its alternate name is The Big Carnival. Andrei Rublev, Andrei Tarkovsky. I suppose I should say I have both of them now on Blu-ray, but why would you ever part with Criterion, because they're just so lovely. The Bad Sleep Well by Kurosawa, which I don't believe is on Blu-ray quite yet, because I have looked, don't worry. Ballad of a Soldier, Jean Cocteau's Beauty and the Beast, or La Belle and la Bête, which BFI is releasing on Blu-ray very shortly. Bob Le Flambeur, Jean-Pierre Melville. The 3-disc edition of Brazil, Terry Gilliam's masterpiece. So there's obviously the finalised version as Terry Gilliam intended. There's the Love Conquers All edition, which is the version the studio butchered, and there's a lovely documentary featuring Gilliam talking about what the studio did and how he had to resort to taking out commercials in the local trade papers to actually get his proper cut released. So that's a really nice set. I have this on Blu-ray now, not a Criterion edition, just a standard edition. Brute Force, Jules Dessin with Burt Lancaster, which I haven't upgraded to Blu-ray yet, but there is an Arrow Academy version that's available. The Burmese Harp, which I have upgraded to Blu-ray on Eureka. Le Cercle Rouge, Jean-Pierre Melville, which again is included in the Jean-Pierre Melville box set, which is available on Blu-ray. Excuse me. Le Diabolique, Clouseau's amazing Le Diabolique. There's a few films in my collection I now have on 2 editions on Blu-ray, and Le Diabolique is one of them. I've got it on Arrow Academy and Criterion, and this is the Criterion DVD version. Get them in order. De Descadène, this is Kurosawa's first colour film, and this is the film that was such a commercial failure that he tried to kill himself, which fortunately he wasn't successful in, otherwise we would never have seen Ran, or Kagemusha, or Rhapsody in August, or Dreams, or Madadayo. Do the Right Thing, which I have upgraded onto Blu-ray. Down by Law by Jim Jarmusch. If I ever do a top 10 prison films, if I ever get around to that top 10, that would be in it, because it is a sad and beautiful world. Another Kurosawa is A Drunken Angel, which sadly isn't on Blu-ray yet. Please let me know if I'm wrong. This is another wonderful Toshiro Mifune Takashi Shimura contemporary film, and it's fantastic. Eyes Without a Face, which I now have on Blu-ray. This is a Criterion version. Again, this was made, Psycho was made, La Diabolique was made, and Peeping Tom were made pretty much within 2 or 3 years of each other, and Psycho was the worst out of the 4. The Fire Within by Louis Malle, or Le Faux Follet, about a man who has decided he's going to kill himself, but he kind of goes around his friends looking for inspiration or a reason not to. That's a lovely cheery little film. The Friends of Eddie Coyle with Robert Mitchum, which is just fantastic and will no doubt feature in my top 10 quintessential 70s films. I now have this on Blu-ray, which I believe is possibly Eureka Masters of Cinema Blu-ray. Harakiri, Kobayashi. I still haven't got that in Blu-ray, I don't believe. Also Takeshi Miike did a remake, which was... it wasn't bad, it was okay. I have a copy of that. But this is the original and the best one. Oh, surprise, surprise, it's another Kurosawa. The Hidden Fortress. Anybody who's a Star Wars fan should really watch this and see if there's any slight parallels or possible inspiration points. Who knows? Oh my goodness, it's another Kurosawa. This is High and Low, which I recently got on Criterion Blu-ray with the exact same packaging. And this is another, it's one of the, arguably the best ransom film ever made. I doubt I'll be doing a top 10 ransom films, because I'm not sure I have that many. But this one is just fantastic. The first half is all shot in a house, and you would think, well, that might be a bit dull, but Kurosawa's composition, his shot composition, the framing, where characters are sitting or standing in relation to each other, it's just a tour de force. He's shot on 2 cameras and it's fantastic. Then the second half opens up into a proper kind of police procedural, and it's just fantastic. Oh my goodness, it's another Kurosawa. This is Akiru, which I recently got on a Region A Criterion Blu-ray, and this is fantastic. Insomnia. This is the original one with Stellan Skarsgård, not the Christopher Nolan, Al Pacino, Martin Donovan one, Robin Williams. In my opinion, this one's better. Oh look, it's another Kurosawa. This is Kagemusha, which I recently got on Criterion Blu-ray, which is the exact same packaging. For years I had Kagemusha on DVD for the 160-minute version, and I thought that was the definitive version. But it's not. This is the 180 Japanese release. The 163-minute one, I believe, was released for international markets. But this is actually the 180-minute version, and this is the definitive version. I mean, obviously, you could look at it as a dry run for Ran, and it's maybe not as good, and the score is maybe a little bit bombastic in places, but it's still absolutely ravishing to look at, and has plenty of Kurosawa flair to it. It's another samurai one. This is Kill by Okamoto, and it's a nice little film. Takeshi Nakadai. This is The Killers, and this is the Robert Siodmak version, and I've completely forgotten who directed the second one. Don Siegel, yeah. The Don Siegel version. I prefer the original one, but this is a nice double set. Again, this is available in Blu-ray and Criterion, but I haven't upgraded it yet. This is one of my favourite films of all time, if you can see the embossing. This is Last Year in Marienbad. And this might be in my top 10 love it or hate it films. I absolutely love it, but I'm sure plenty of people will absolutely hate it. It's pretty much about a man who goes to this dinner party in this country house and speaks to a woman and says that they had agreed a year earlier to meet and for her to leave her husband, who's called X, I believe, in the film. And it's an hour and a half of him trying to persuade her that it actually happened, and she denies that they ever met, and even the director, Alain Resnais, kind of disagreed with the writer on whether they actually met or whether they didn't meet. And it's just absolutely gorgeous. The editing in it is arguably the best editing I've ever seen. I mean, there's characters who just turn their head and they're in another room. I mean, it's astonishing. I mean, you can read it as a meditation on time, or a kind of satire on the middle classes who just spend years just going to banquets and dinner parties. It's fantastic. Or you might think it's terrible. And I have that on Blu-ray. The Life and Death of Colonel Blimp, another one I have on Blu-ray, and it's an amazing Blu-ray print. It's another Powell and Pressburger masterpiece. This is Sajic Ray's Music Room, which I recently got on Blu-ray and Criterion with the exact same packaging, and it's fantastic. It's similar to kind of Citizen Kane in the sense of it's a study of a man who is still living in a time that's long past. Aren't we all? This is Onibaba, which I haven't got on Blu-ray yet, and I haven't updated Kuronenko either, which is it's not really the sequel to it, but it's a nice pair of films, and that's lovely artwork. Pale Flower, which is a 60s Japanese Yakuza film, which is a lovely little film. It's kind of like Suzuki films, but maybe not as barking. This is Peeping Tom, and again, this is probably one of my top 10 films. This will appear in top 10 serial killers, and obviously Michael Powell's top 10, and just top 10 films in general. I mean, it's aged slightly with some aspects of it, as in it'll be £2, but it's still ahead of its time, and sadly this is the film that pretty much ended Michael Powell's directing career, because there was critics who pretty much wanted it flushed down the toilet. It was made in 1960, the same year as Psycho, and it's 100 times better than Psycho, but unfortunately critics and the public weren't really ready for it, because you're actually sympathetic towards the killer. It's just fantastic. If you've never seen it, buy 3 copies of it and watch it. It's another Kurosawa, it's Rashomon. And I have this on Blu-ray now, but it's a lovely, nice Criterion box, as they always are. Just a fantastic film. Oh, it's another Kurosawa. You'd be thinking that I like Kurosawa or something. This is Redbeard, his last collaboration with Toshiro Mifune. And this is about Toshiro Mifune playing a doctor. And it's awesome. The Red Shoes, which is another Powell and Pressburger masterpiece, which I have upgraded to Blu-ray, and it looks amazing on Blu-ray. It looks amazing on DVD. it would look amazing if you were watching it through a sock. The Samurai, which I am having trouble finding in Blu-ray. There's a couple of editions, but I don't think they've actually got English subtitles. It's Jean-Pierre Melville's finest film, but for some reason it hasn't been put on Blu-ray yet, as far as I know. Please let me know in comments down below if I'm wrong, and where to find it. This is Samurai Rebellion. This is another Toshiro Mifune, and it's Kobayashi who did Harakiri, and it's a nice wee film. This is Samurai Part 3. I now have the trilogy on Criterion Blu-ray, but on Criterion DVD I actually only have 2 of the films. And there's number 2, because for some reason I never actually got number 1, which makes perfect sense. This is Seconds, John Frankenheimer, and this is one of the most underrated films of all time, with Rock Hudson, about a man who wants to change his life. So he finds this company that pretty much change your life by changing your body and your face and pretty much redoing you. And I'm actually really quite surprised it has been remade, obviously badly with like Matt Damon or something, but this is fantastic. I've now got it in Blu-ray and it's really nice cinematography. Wong Howe, who shot Sweet Smell of Success, and it's absolutely beautiful to look at. Oh, it's another Kurosawa, and it's arguably the Kurosawa. It's Seven Samurai, with a lovely book, which obviously I have on about 2 different versions on Blu-ray, but this is a 3-disc Criterion DVD. I mean, it's, well, I don't really think it needs any explanation or introduction. If you've never seen it, put aside 3 1/4 hours and go and see it. It won't feel like 3 1/4 hours. There's some films that feel like 3 1/4 hours. Seven Samurai doesn't. Small Back Room. This is an underrated Pelham Press burger, but it's fantastic nonetheless. It's David Farrar as a bomb disposal expert, and unlike Black Narcissus, he doesn't wear shorts, which is good because David Farrar in shorts just makes nuns and women go wild. It's another Kurosawa, and this is one of my personal favourites, as if the other ones aren't. This is Stray Dog, and it's about Toshiro Mifune as a police officer who's lost his service weapon, and it's just his panicked search for it through the city with the help of Takashi Shimura, and it's just another awesome Kurosawa film. Speaking of James Wong Howe, it's The Sweet Smell of Success, Alexander McKendrick's acerbic masterpiece. I should actually do a top 10 quotable films of all time. I'll have to write that down. And this is in that top 10. It's just absolutely amazing as far as being quotable. Awesome film. And again, it's a lovely set. Sword of Doom with Tatsuya Nakadai and Toshiro Mifune, which again I've just upgraded on Blu-ray, and it's the same packaging by Criterion. And again, that's a really good samurai film. That's a solid 4 out of 5. Oh, it's another samurai film. Can't imagine why that is. Sword of the Beast. Again, a really nice wee film. You'll start to think there's a pattern emerging. It's all samurai stuff in Pelham Pressburger. It's The Tales of Hoffman by Pelham Pressburger, which I saw once on the television in an afternoon and was immediately under its spell. Scorsese always talks about this, the gondola scene. I mean, I would say it's a flawed masterpiece, but there's just scenes in it that are absolutely perfect. And again, Pelham Pressburger, way ahead of their time. This is The Thin Red Line, probably the best modern war film, not Saving Private Ryan, which I think were released either in the same week or pretty much the same week. You've got Spielberg or Terrence Malick. I know which one I prefer. Granted, after this, Terrence Malick made The Tree of Life, and he made other films that just got more ponderous and ponderous. The New World as well. But this is absolutely amazing to look at, and it's just awesome. I have this on Blu-ray now, but again, check it out. Another one in the top 10 conversation, it's The Third Man with Carol Reed. A lovely set. Again, I have it on Blu-ray now, but how could you ever part with such a lovely box as this? This is the 2-disc Criterion DVD version. Heck, it's another Toshiro Mifune Kurosawa film, can you believe it? This is Throne of Blood, this is Kurosawa's Macbeth, and it's the best interpretation of Shakespeare probably ever. To Be or Not to Be, I have ordered the Criterion Blu-ray, which is the same packaging as this. Just a lovely little film. I'm a big Ernst Lubitsch fan. I'll probably have to do a top 10 on him as well. And Carol Lombard, which obviously was such a tragedy when she was lost in a plane crash. But this is an absolute joy. Don't bother with the Mel Brooks 1983 remake. This is the one to watch. When you consider it was made in 1942 and what the subject matter is about, pretty amazing. 12 Angry Men, it's another in the top 10 discussion. I do have it in Blu-ray, but I don't have it in Criterion Blu-ray. I might have to get it in Criterion Blu-ray and continue my 2 editions on Blu-ray of the same film. Not that I'm weird or anything. Just literally perfect. It just happens in a room, which again you'd think, oh, that's going to be really dull. But it's one of the best scripts ever, and it's arguably the best film in a room. I'm not really selling it very well, but it's absolutely fantastic. It's one of those films you can literally say is perfect. Ugetsu, or Ugetsu Monogatari, by Mizuguchi. This is the 2-disc set. Haven't seen it on Blu-ray, but that is a lovely set. The Vanishing by George Sluizy, which I recently got on Criterion Blu-ray, which I'm very happy about. This is a lovely little film. Again, it will appear back in the top 10 serial killers films, and probably top 10 one-hit wonders, because George Sluizy's pretty much never made anything close to a film that's as good as this. He did remake this in 1993 in Hollywood with Kiefer Sutherland and Jeff Bridges and Sandra Bullock and Nancy Travis, but changed the ending. Enough said. This is a masterpiece. Remake, not so much. And this is one of the lovely Criterion sets, Videodrome, and look, the box looks like a video, which is really cool. I mean, that's awesome. Unfortunately you can't insert that into your stomach. I suppose you could try, but probably wouldn't get in there. I now have it on Arrow Blu-ray, which I would recommend because it's got a ton of extras. But that is one of Criterion's best boxes. Does that make me sad? I don't know. And finally, Yojimbo. Yes, it's another Kurosawa, and it's a masterpiece. Again, I have this now on Blu-ray, but it's awesome. It's only been remade about 1,400 times. Well, that's my Criterion DVD collection. Thanks for watching. We got there eventually. And if you would like to, if you liked the video, please leave a like. If you wish to see more videos, please subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, or if you can actually help me source any of these films on Blu-ray, then please leave a comment below, and we'll see you again, and hopefully I shall try and start doing top 10 videos. Well, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you again.